Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Bite-Sized and Bossy. Today's episode is sponsored by C3. C3 promotes and designs insightful products and custom programs for your children when they go into all these different restaurants. More on that later, but for now, enjoy today's episode.
Bite-sized and bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks. Inspiration coming at you like a river flowing. Women paving paths, look at them going. Bite-sized and bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks. Inspiration coming.
I'm Erin,
I'm Tammy.
and this is
Bite-sized and
Bite-Sized and
Bossy.
Bossy.
Even with
We're-
just two of us, we
I
can't get it
know.
right.
We're so good. But do you know who we have today, Tammy? We have I've wanted her on the podcast since we began because I
Wow.
sat with her probably over a year ago and she told me this story that I was like, you need to tell that on the podcast.
Oh.
And she is an unbelievable woman. Her name's Jennifer Loper. She is the president of C3. And so we're so excited to have her today. So Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you.
I mean, you were like, I feel like if I wanted a mom that I didn't have, not that I don't like my mom, I do like my mom, but I feel like if I could luck into a new mom, you would be my new mom, honestly.
That's
Oh,
so sweet. And I
well-
would be thrilled and honored. I only have boys, so
Okay.
I would love
Oh,
to have
well,
that's
wait a minute.
fine.
Wait
I
a
mean,
minute.
if
Wait.
you wanna
If you're
leave me any
taking
money or-
applications, if
Yeah,
you're taking
there-
applications, trust me, I
Yeah.
could use a mom.
We're signing up here. But the audience doesn't know why you want to be why we want you to be our mom. So if you could introduce yourself to the people that don't know you, please tell them that are listening.
Yes, of course. Well, before I do that, so Erin, I don't know if you know this story, and this is a little improv, but Tim Hackbart is who brought us together.
Ah.
Yes.
So I have known Tim for 20 years.
He hired
And-
me at Del Taco.
And he
Yes.
hired her because I gave him her
Oh my God, it's
contact
full
info.
circle. It's
I
full
mean,
circle.
it's all for full circle, which is what I love about the hospitality industry. So I was talking to Tim, and we were at, I don't know, maybe RLC or Meg, I can't remember which one, and it was maybe a couple years ago. And he said, "You have got to meet this woman, Erin. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I just know you would love her, and I think she would love you, and you just need to meet her." And we all know Tim. He's not somebody who's easily excitable and
He's
that type.
eccentric.
But
Yep.
he was so passionate about it, and so shout out to Tim. It was a great tip. And so Erin, when I think when we first connected, it was around Tim bringing us together.
Yes.
So that was wonderful. But I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. It's been the highlight. I've literally had it circled on my calendar.
Oh.
So I'm Jennifer Loper, as Erin and Tammy said. I'm president of C3, and we are a design and branding agency here in Kansas City. And what we do is we focus primarily on the restaurant and hospitality industries, and we create programs that are 100% custom for restaurants, for their family and kid consumer. And our hope is that we bring a brand to life for families with children. And the tactics we use are many. We create physical products. We create toys, activity books, cups, crayons, anything you can imagine, we can create. We are a scrappy, small but mighty organization, 38 years old, founded by an entrepreneur, and we're about 33 people. Industrial designers, toy designers, art directors, illustrators.
Which is unbelievable. You basically
Oh.
make the Happy Meal of
Yes.
every other restaurant out there. And
We
that
do.
means something because I can tell you right now, my kids go to restaurants based on what they receive, right?
Yes.
Like what the cool thing is that they get in their hand.
Well, we do tons of research, and our research tells us that as well. And what I love about C3 is the people, as talented as they are exceptional humans as well. And so I've been here 20 years. I started as an account manager, and was asked to be president of the organization 7 years ago. So clearly there's a path for growth. And it's just been the most amazing journey of my life. And I'm so grateful. And the people I work with are amazing. And I feel blessed every day when I get to open up my computer and work here at C3.
Well, I want to know how you ended up there because I was trolling your LinkedIn profile because, that's what we do.
She was
Yes.
playing
And
with children's toys, and then she found a place.
yeah, so how did you end up here, right? I joke that nobody woke up one day as a little kid and said, "Wow, I want to sell software to restaurants when I get old." So, and the Madonna's job was already taken. So I know how I got here, but how did you get to C3?
Wait,
I
are
love
you
that.
comparing
Did you
yourself
go to a big
Tammy, to
school?
Madonna?
Like, yeah, do
Are
we
you
want
Madonna, Tammy?
I
I
mean, with this
just to
off
be
the
clear.
shoulder look today,
Yeah, I
maybe.
mean, you're doing it. You're doing it
Hey,
well.
you are killing it, by the
Yeah.
way. I love it. Um, so I, like probably 90% of people, had a super jankety path to where I am. I was a non-traditional college student. So
Does
when we
that
were
mean
kids,
is that read like drank a lot and
no, it's really more a number of years it took
Oh.
me to get through school.
Right.
So
You were a super senior.
Yeah.
I was a super senior to the fourth power, if that's the right math. That wasn't my degree, so maybe that's not right. But so when we were kids, so my dad died when we were kids, and my mom was super hard worker. My dad was blue collar. He was a plumber, though he had an entrepreneurial spirit. And my mom was super hardworking and smart, but not formally educated. And so she was a first generation American. My grandparents came over here from Italy. And so her generation wasn't college educated, but my generation and my cousins are. So anyway, I'm one of four kids, and my mom wanted us to be educated, but it was like the money just wasn't there. So I worked and went to school, and honestly, I loved it. So I started, of course, as you can imagine, because the flexibility. I worked at Burger King. That was one of my first jobs.
Woo.
And I also worked at Macy's, which is a department store. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But I always worked like two or three jobs. I was super comfortable working. I loved it. I
Platinum member.
loved hospitality. I
Do you have
loved
a
working
Macy's?
with
Hold on. Do
people.
you have a Macy's credit card? Is
I
that
have
what
a
you're showing
I have
us?
a platinum Macy's card. I love me some
I mean,
Macy's.
she's fancy. She has more money than I do. Let's just be clear. She has a
No,
lot more
that's
money.
not true,
But
actually. I
like
have less money.
Jennifer
I
just
have
said,
I
I
have
don't know if
less
you
money and
know
less
Macy's.
children.
Yeah, I mean, children's. Ugh.
Okay. So my
Anyway,
point is
continue.
like you did not have this straight path, which you talked
Correct.
about, right into
Yes.
this presidential seat in your company.
Yes.
And you started there as an account manager. And did you go to a big fancy school? Because we've had gals on here that have gone to
No.
Harvard.
Oh my gosh, no. When I see people on when that I'm going to meet with that went to Harvard, I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
That's when
So
you just
no.
just bring wine to the meeting,
Yeah,
right? Like
right.
if you're feeling intimidated, just bring a little wine, put it down on the table, say, I don't have a degree, but I do have a great bottle of wine for us to
Mm.
share. And you will
Yes.
instantly lighten the
Wait, where
mood.
did you go to college?
So I went to it's a Jesuit private college here in Kansas City called Rockhurst College. It's now
Okay.
Rockhurst University.
Yeah.
But I started at the University of Missouri, and I had a terrible, just to be quick to paraphrase, I had a terrible entry point,
Okay.
um, just due to lots of things. And I came home and I went to the Kansas City version of the University of Missouri here. And this was kind of the first
Yeah.
kind of idea I had around like this is where and I think this such as an important lesson for women in particular. Nobody is going to determine your future. You are going to determine your future,
Yes.
and don't let anybody just describe you or put you in a box based on one experience. So I had a terrible GPA, and I remember this advisor said, "You're never going to graduate from college. This is terrible." And so I walked across the street to Rockhurst College, and this was in the 80s. So, you didn't have internet, there was no cell phone. And I walked in, and And the woman's like, well, strangely, this advisor actually has an opening. And so I talked to him and he said, this doesn't look great, but if we work on a plan, I think you can get there. So my first hurdle was to get my grades up. I did that. I graduated. It took me 8 years. I graduated at one, top of my class. So one small blip does not define your life and does not
Correct.
create your trajectory. And then it was like, oh, there's an ad agency in Kansas City that works in restaurants and retail, Bernstein Rain Advertising. So it was the largest independently owned agency in the early 90s when I started working there. And I also did typing jobs. So I'm a great typer. Like even today, my kids are amazed at how fast I can type. And so I went to apply for a job and
Do you know how many words per minute you can type?
oh
90,
my gosh,
93 for me.
it's something crazy like that, Tammy.
Mhm.
Yes.
I I don't even know. I don't know. How do you even know? Like,
Take a
is there
test
like a
online.
thing?
you can,
There's
yeah. I remember my typing teacher like timing us, but I was always, and I still type fast. So long story short, I started at Bernstein Rain Advertising and they worked on the Walmart business, which of course I loved because I loved retail. So I was the account team secretary and I loved it. And I learned so much about the agency. Bob Bernstein and Skip Rain created the most professional, fun, entrepreneurial culture there. And then another thing I did that people told me again, this is going to be your destiny, was I decided to take a few years off and stay home with my kids. And they said, if you do that, your career's over. You'll
Yep.
never get a job. And so
How many years did you take off?
yeah.
I was off 5 or 6.
I mean,
Um,
that's a long time. And like when
Yeah.
you think about careers, right? That's
yes,
a long time that you're staying home with how many kids?
Yeah.
2 boys. Yep.
Well, and I'm
Okay.
thinking which the one of them must have been the favorite. They prompted you to stay home.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
Mine, I
It's
don't stay home because I don't have any favorites.
You're home all the time.
and guys, it was a different world back then. Like there was no remote work. There was no, I mean, when I started at Bernstein Rain, we didn't even have computers. I didn't have an email.
Stop
We had
aging yourself.
we
Well,
had one computer that had dial up that we all used for 300 people.
oh, and it made that fun noise.
Oh, I like the AOL noise. I really do like the AOL noise.
Oh,
Yes.
well, maybe that should be your ringtone.
But I did do something again because I like to do things just a little differently. I did personal shopping at Nordstrom part-time. So I created this kind of profile of professional women that I worked with from a from a I guess you could say styling perspective. And so I kind of stayed connected to the work
Jennifer,
community
are you
through these
telling
Hold
me
on.
that you can pick
Hold
out
on.
my outfits from
Jennifer,
now on?
Jennifer,
Like
Aaron and
I
I
really like I've never
if you
wanted
haven't seen
anything
our
more in my whole
faces,
life. Like if you
Aaron
could design what I wear from now on, that would
100%.
be amazing. Because
well, so
Yes.
just to be clear, I'm wearing a tank top and leggings, and I'm wearing the same suit jacket I wear in, I don't know, 50% of our episodes right now. And so I would love if someone could pick out my outfits.
okay, so I would when you go back and watch this episode with your family, I would like for you and thank you to our producer who was showing all of us at the same time. I want you to see Aaron's face and my face when you say that you were a
I was,
professional shopper at Nordstrom. We were like,
oh yeah,
"Tell us
yeah.
more."
Why haven't you
Yes.
helped me with that in the past?
I absolutely loved it. And I had an attorney customer, and I'll just share a little nugget here. It's not about size, it's about proportion. And
Mhm.
as a customer, you have to be willing to try things on. I would have customers say, I've got 30 minutes and I need a whole new wardrobe. And I'd say, you need to come back when you have 2 hours because we've got to really spend some time and you've got to try some things. So, great fit is all about your personal personality. You need to be who you are, but it's also about proportion because women would say, "Oh, I'm not going to come in until I'm,
Yeah.
20 pounds less." It's like, no, here's where you
Yeah.
are right now. You can look amazing. So, I had a woman, an attorney, very high profile, and she was very woman of few words, kind of, very just a very intense individual, but lovely. And she and I worked together, and she came back 2 months later, and she said, "You changed my life." And I was like, "What?" Here I am, like just a sales clerk kind of. And she said, "You've given me so much confidence. I can't tell you, I never thought clothes could matter this much. And you've
Ugh,
really done something to help me
I
change
need
my
you in
life."
my life.
Yeah.
It made
I
me
need
feel
you in my
so
life.
good, guys. I was like, this is just, it was just so great. And I love doing it. So I think when you can share your gifts and they can be gifts for others, I mean, what
Ooh,
more is.
I have
But
an
you just
idea.
said, like, I'm
I
gonna
have an
meet you
idea.
where you're at,
Oh,
right? Like, I'm
no.
gonna meet you where you're at and, like, help you. And so, like, that's what I feel like C3 does too. You
Yes.
meet people where they're at with
Yes.
what they need, right?
Absolutely. So when I was at Nordstrom, I was in the break room and I read an article about who's the best boss to work for in Kansas City, and it's our founder and CEO. And at the time, I was ready to transition to a full time job. And so I think I wrote a letter and put it in the mail because this was maybe I had an email. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe not. And I came in and I interviewed, and they said, "Great, we needed an account manager." And I'd left Bernstein Rain at a higher level, but that was okay. And I said, "Great, I want to come in." And I
Yeah.
just, guys, you know the drill. You show up every day, you do your best, you you contribute everything you can, you try your hardest, you're kind, you get to know people, you're authentic, and you
Mhm.
also try to figure out how can I help everybody around me? Like, we're all just here trying to help each other along the journey.
Well, I'm curious. So you're definitely a more seasoned individual in our industry, and we won't give away your age, but you're sharing some of
She
this
already
stuff.
told it. She's old.
Yes. Well, she
She
But
told us,
she
but hold
is
on, let me finish my question, Erin.
fine.
Yeah, I didn't get to share my idea either. So I wanted to understand, like, how are you, if you're producing like family menus, kids menus, and being someone yourself who's a little bit more seasoned, how do you work with these younger generations? Like, what are you
that's
doing, or how are you reaching
Good
Gen
question.
Z versus millennials? Like,
yes.
you were sharing some of that before, and I said, hey, save this for the show because it's really
Yes.
smart and interesting.
So we are such a unique, we're very unique in the space. So we look like an agency, but we're also a manufacturer. So Tammy, we start everything with insights and research. So if you go to our website, we have a whole tab on what we know. And we have one of the best in the industry, insights and research people. Her name's Julia Foley. Shout out to Julia. She's amazing. And so everything we do is based on the research and insights of the consumer that we're trying to reach. So we talk to a lot of parents. So millennial parents have been a focus the last 10 years, but now Gen Z is starting to have kids. So we're starting to look at Gen Z. And one of the things we were talking about, Tammy, prior to hopping on was how millennials really value authenticity
Hmm.
and as parents, and they want authentic interactions with brands. They want brands to meet them where they are, know what their life looks like. Hey, I'm super busy, got a million things going on, I need things to be easy, and but I want you to be authentic. So we have numerous research that we've done, our own proprietary research, and then we also work with a lot of secondary research partners in the industry that are great. But everything starts with the insights around families and children and what they're looking for as it relates to an experience with a brand, in particular a restaurant brand.
So what are some of the key differences that you see in terms of the behaviors in those audiences? Like, what would be a shocking thing for someone to realize that Gen Z versus millennials behave this way?
So we're just now starting to get into that because it's starting to turn from, I think I should know this off the top of my head. If Julie were here, she would know it. The last millennial was born, I think, in 1996. And then I think it turned over to Gen Z starts in 1997.
Really?
So,
Like,
yes.
oh, millennials
Yeah.
span a long time. Tammy, when
It's
were
like,
you born? I think
it's
you should shout
typically,
that out.
it's like
I'm the
15
last.
years. I think
I'm the
it's normally 15
Are
years.
you
I'm the
millennial,
tail end of
Tammy?
Gen. Hey, I'm a tail end of Gen X. I am a
Oh,
hundred
you're
percent
Gen
Gen
X?
X.
Oh, I'm a millennial. I
Oh, I
mean,
know.
you're welcome.
Yeah, I know.
I am definitely a millennial. I'm doing it. I'm doing it well.
Yes,
Well,
you
Erin,
you
so
grew
you
up with
tell me,
email.
yes, you tell me if this resonates with you. So Tammy, to make sure I answer your question, we're
Mhm.
going to start to learn a lot more about Gen Z and how they're going to parent. I don't know if I have that aha or that really kind of shocking difference for you right now, but maybe if we talk in like 3 years on that. But what
I
I
don't
will,
feel like do you feel like they're gonna parent? Like, I don't feel like they're gonna parent.
well,
They're
here's what's
probably gonna be too
interesting.
busy going to yoga and
I mean,
scheduling all
there's
of
penguin
their
yoga. Did you see that? There is penguin yoga that is a thing now, and I really, really wanna go.
That could be something that when we talk to them, they tell us about that, and so that would maybe, Tammy, to your question, that would help inform us as it relates to the entertainment. But here's what we do know: we know a ton about millennial parents, and one of the things that I think is so interesting because I compare it to myself is this idea of millennials parented where they took their kids along with them. So this is where we started to see in the restaurant industry kids being more open to different flavor profiles than my
sushi.
generation. Yes, or
I
Tammy,
was
even
Yeah.
shocked to see parents taking kids to sushi.
Yeah.
When I
yes,
grew up, every piece of fish we had was fried, then frozen, then heated up in the oven and in the shape of a stick.
yes.
I thought fresh fish had a bone in it and had to have
I
bones
do
in it.
love fish sticks,
And I
though.
was
Fish
scared of
sticks are
it.
great.
I do
Yeah.
not love
So
fish sticks.
I do. I
millennials,
still eat fish sticks.
Good for you. You're a millennial. I'm Gen X. We know that stuff's toxic.
but millennials, they kind of had a life. And again, these are generalizations, but we've done the research, and it millennials had a life prior to having kids, whereas um, boomers and even Gen X, Tammy, to a certain extent, kind of early on Gen
Mhm.
X, it was more of you go to college, get married, have kids right away.
Yeah.
And so millennials were like, hey, you know what? I eat sushi. I'm gonna bring my kid along with my lifestyle. I am not going to have a separate lifestyle. And
Yeah.
kids have a huge influence on the decisions that families make, which was shocking
Unfortunately,
to me.
they suck the life out of you. So Jennifer, if you think of like the coolest toy or like game or anything that you've created, your company's created, what is that? What does that
Oh
look
my
like?
gosh. I'm
Yeah.
it's like trying to pick your favorite kid or
Well,
maybe your favorite dog
I
that you've
mean,
ever
I have
had.
one, but that's fine.
um, well, I will, and we work with many restaurant brands, and we've done amazing things. So, Sonic um, is a client. The company was founded on Sonic Drive-In. So, our founder and CEO Bob Cutler, he did all the things I would never do. He mortgaged his house. He took out cash on credit cards to get his
Oh.
first program
Oh.
here. And
wow.
so Sonic has been our client for over 38 years, going on 39 years. So, of
Wow.
course, the amount of time we've had to create for them has
Yeah.
been the longest. But our average client tenure is 15 years. So it's really remarkable. But one of the things, and this is more of a recent program. So many brands is a, and so we do licensing. We have extensive licensing partners, and we
Mhm.
have experts here at C3 around licensing. So many brands is a Zuru product, and many brands is in Target and Walmart,
Oh.
and they're just like miniature collectibles of all
Mhm.
kinds of things.
The
It could
kids
be,
love those. Those
Oh.
little my nieces when they were
I
little.
don't get them. You know where they get stuck in the
Oh my god.
vacuum.
You know what? Hello Kitty. Like in my
I know.
generation, it was the Hello Kitty because they were so tiny. Just being
They're
small
so
was enough.
small. You're
Yeah.
right, Tammy. They're so small,
Yeah.
yes.
but
So
we
we
love
had
them.
this super interesting collaboration. And again, even when we work with a licensor, we do everything custom. So we don't have a warehouse filled with things that are awesome and then we put someone's logo on it. Everything is done around um, what's the client trying to solve for. We do a brief. We are all in alignment with what's the purpose of this program and why are we doing it. So many brands approached us and said, well, we'd like to do something with Sonic. And so
Yeah.
there was conversations had. And so we as C3 for the kids wacky pack, which is Sonic's kids meal, we created a version of mini brands foodies edition. So we took all the
Ooh.
Sonic brand treasures, the visor, the roller skate, the tray, the corn
Ah,
dog, the
That's
tater
I do
awesome.
love
tots.
Sonic. I
That's
love
awesome.
Sonic a lot.
I bet the kids love that too.
Well, Tammy, not only did the kids love it, but the adults loved it.
Oh
And we
yeah.
had requests from I had more emails come into our hello@c3mail.com, which is just the general email, asking.
Wait, do you get those emails?
I get them along with two of my colleagues.
Oh, so there's a
You get
real
like the
person.
contact us informal. You get those as the president of the company. That's pretty impressive.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's so we had more adults asking how they could find the roller skate or how they could find the tater tots. And the other interesting thing, which isn't as fun, though critical to our business, is our safety component. We exceed all government standards, head and shoulders above what they are. We have a proprietary safety manual. We have a very rigorous, rigid safety protocol.
Okay.
And that makes us, that's one of the things that sets us apart. And I'm super proud of that. Longtime colleague David Smith, he's been here as long as I have, 20 years. He's our director of product integrity and safety. And so we actually had to change the mini brands to be maxi minis because the mini brands as they're in retail are too small.
Yeah.
And so we had to make them not so small and to pass our safety testing. But so that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite projects. I have another one if we have time to talk about it, but
You
if
should
not,
call it, well, we might need to take a break soon, but I think
okay.
you should call them biggies
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
because
saying
it's
the
bigger
word
than the
and
minis, but I think
yes.
you should call them biggies.
Um, but it was so much fun, and just to see the consumer react. And honestly, what we get to do every day, and it seems so simple, but it makes me so happy. We can bring a moment of joy to someone's life, like
yes.
just a simple respite from all the things, and it's fun for fun's sake. It just brings somebody a moment of joy, and that's just such a beautiful thing.
Today's episode is sponsored by C3. C3 is a marketing agency that brings brands to life for families with children through experience, entertainment, and more. They design insightful, award winning programs and custom products that help our partners connect with families and they get results. Your top three clients, if you had like your wish list, and maybe they're not clients now, who are your top three people that you want to help invigorate those children
Well, see,
for?
this is what I
Yes.
was getting at, Erin. Are you asking her about people or are you asking her about the brands or the
The
projects?
brands.
Mm-hmm.
Brands. Well, so I'll tell you about one current client we have that I um that has that's interesting in terms of their development. So we work with Raising Canes,
Mm-hmm.
I
and we
love
have worked
them.
with,
They have a lot of dogs.
yes.
So good.
So Kane is their mascot and he's amazing. The brand is amazing. The people at Canes are amazing. So we started to work with Raising Canes um 16, 17 years ago. Goodness, I was the account manager. I worked with them along with a colleague of mine. And it's been such an honor and pleasure and just so much fun to grow with them. Like when we started working with them, I want to say they had 50 units maybe.
Wow.
And now they have over 900.
And now their Texas toast is so
Wait a
good.
minute. They
So
sell
good.
something other than just chicken? I don't have
Yes,
kids. I
Yes.
don't
their
go there.
Texas, if you have not, I mean, you're super
Oh,
skinny right
Tammy.
now, so you probably aren't going to eat the Texas toast, but the Texas toast is
But
so
I'll
good,
lick
Tammy.
it and smell it.
Yes, you could lick it. I mean, that's a whole nother ball game. We can unpack that later, but it is delicious.
Oh my gosh, the crinkle fries. So
Also,
chicken
Raising
finger.
Cane's, if you're listening and you want to send us some Texas toast, just
Oh
me,
my gosh.
actually, when I say us, I mean me.
Yes,
I would
she
be
means
okay with
her.
it.
the cane sauce, like the food is so craveable.
So good.
I I love it, and I loved it even. I would love
Okay.
it even if they weren't a client. But I really, it's been such an honor, and like just it's just been so neat, for lack of a better term, to grow with a client and to
Mhm.
see that success along the way. And there's certain individuals we've worked with the whole time, like they've been there. Um,
That's
and so
impressive.
Do you
they've
work
always,
with my pal Kelly Hansen? She works over there.
so I that is not a name familiar to
Mhm.
me. It may be to the team that works on it now. Um, but they're just a great, and they do so much in the community, and they're so clear about who they are. And we do the plush puppy that they have in restaurants over the holidays, the Cane's plush.
It's so good too.
It's so fun, and the net proceeds benefit pet welfare, which is wonderful. So they are just a top notch, great organization. Another client, they are a client, but I love them, and they embrace kids and families in such a great way, as does Canes. They're big believers in making that connection with kids to grow their brand as the
Mhm.
kids become adults. And so we work with Texas Roadhouse
Oh yeah,
guys.
another
They
good
are
one.
Also the best butter in the whole wide world.
Well, hold
they are
on. We've got Sonic, Canes, Texas Roadhouse. You guys got some great clients.
yes,
And
yes, we do.
I have known you for years. I think Trish Balmus introduced us,
Yes, yes, yes,
the
yes. I
Kansas
love
City
Trish.
connection, Trayvon.
Yes,
And so I have always thought of C3. You guys have been a staple in the industry for a long time. I've always thought of C3 as the kids menu people. And
yes,
what
yeah.
I have learned here today is that you guys do a shit ton, I think that's a technical term, of other stuff,
Shit
like
ton.
the
Yes. No,
licensing, the
definitely
production
technical.
of the biggies, the plush toys. That's fantastic. I had no idea.
So yeah, it's really entertainment, and I would say, Tammy, because I want to make sure I answer your question related to like who do we want, who would we love to work for, like what brands and that kind of thing. I'm not, I it's it's um it's fast casual. So fast casual brands, so we've done some research, and it's super interesting, and the headline is kids have, to be kid friendly, you need two things: food my kid will eat, and fun. And we've done the research for as long as I've been here, but we've done it for over 30 years. And it's
Yeah.
always the same. I need the food my kid will eat, if I'm a parent saying this, but then they want some fun. And fun always sits teeny little bit below food. Food, you got to get the food right. You have to
Mhm.
have that correct. So one of the insights we have is we've heard from parents that say, I would love it if a fast casual brand would have entertainment, because I want to go there as a parent. I would prefer, sometimes, not all the time,
Hmm.
but I would like the option to
Yeah.
have fast casual instead of QSR, perhaps. And they are always missing that entertainment piece. And so, since, as we talked about earlier, kids are such a decision, they have such an influence in the decision making, and moms generally, dads as well, but in general, moms, they want their kids to have the food that they will eat, and they want them to enjoy the experience. They will pick a restaurant that has the entertainment. So we believe there's a huge opportunity for fast casual to embrace this idea of entertainment. And their entertainment is going to look completely different than a
Hmm.
McDonald's entertainment. It's
Well,
not going to look
Yeah.
the same.
yeah, let me ask a question about that because I wanted to ask you anyway. When I think about what's happening in restaurants and you talk about entertainment and kids, I mean, most kids are attached to a digital device, right?
Yes.
I love nothing more than when I see a family dining at a, casual dining restaurant. If their kids have iPads, I whisper, thank you,
Yes.
right? Because they're improving the experience for the rest of us by keeping their kid satiated, entertained, whatever the terminology
I
is.
don't know if I agree with you on that.
Well, we can debate that after this. So, how are you guys handling the sort of digital piece? Like, if you're building more physical entertainment, how do you compete with those, the iPads of today?
Yes. So have you heard of the term phygital? So fidget, so it's
Mm-mm.
like a digital but also analog. So there's this like kind of mashup. Um, again, I go back to our research and insights because Tammy,
Mhm.
you could be in one of our meetings asking all these questions because we're asking these questions too. And we talk to parents and do consumer research all day, every day. And what parents are telling us today is we want less digital. We don't want to have to say we don't want to be in a position to have to say no again to a tablet or to a
Oh,
screen.
that makes
And
sense.
that's shifted a little bit with COVID because of all the online school and all the need to be on a screen
Mhm.
just for a lifeline to
Yeah.
school and activities and that type of thing. And so what what we hear from parents is we would like entertainment that will satisfy and it's different for everybody. You could have
Mhm.
a Texas Roadhouse. Their entertainment is a more of a weight buster because you're waiting for the food. So it could be
Right.
a family table entertainment. It could be a game, it could be a puzzle, it could be anything you can think of.
Yeah.
And those are the things that we consider. But in general, parents want less screens and they don't want to be in a position where they have to say no to a kid.
Yeah, I don't wanna
So,
have to take the
Yeah.
screen away. I'd
We
rather
don't
someone
want them
else
to
take
say
the
no to
screen
their
away.
kids either because
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
when they get loud.
yes, right. Yeah. So it's an area that we talk about all the time because it's something that we need to be in touch with the consumer, the parents, and I mean, we have parents here and we did the research and they'll just say, you know what, at some point I give them the screen because I need 5 minutes. I need a break. I need them to just not
Yes.
need something.
Correct. Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, that makes a lot of sense. And Jennifer, I think we could probably talk to you for hours because I've talked to you for hours. And what I can tell you about you is that you are like a real human who understands and wants to put
Oh,
good into the world. And I
absolutely.
think that's really, really amazing. So, like I said, we could talk to you forever and ever. But with that said, Tammy, I think we have to do food for thought.
I would agree that we do.
So you
Um,
start.
oh, so I get to start.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
so you've already asked who her favorite clients are.
I know.
So I always ask, where's your favorite restaurant to eat that is not one of yours, but you don't have restaurants, so maybe not one of your clients.
Okay. So I, like most people in the industry, I love food. I love all kinds of food. And if you looked
Same.
at my phone, you would probably because I have every app for all kinds of reasons for the loyalty and just as a person in the industry. Um, so I love it's a pizza place. It's local here called Spin. And it was actually created by the woman who was one of the founders of Bagel and Bagel a long, long time ago. So it's called Spin Pizza, and they have the best salads. It's wood fired pizza. They have pasta. The food is fresh. They have amazing gelato. They have
I
a
don't
great
know them.
Yeah,
loyalty
and are they
program.
are they a chain, like a small chain?
They're a small chain here in Kansas City,
Okay,
Okay.
so
cool.
just local. Yes. As far as a region not regional but a national brand, um, I I mean, I really there's so many. I love Texas Roadhouse. I love Olive Garden.
You
My
work
kids
on
love
Texas
Olive Garden.
Roadhouse. You can't
I
say
know.
Texas
I
Roadhouse.
know. I love and so let's see. I like Whataburger. We don't work with them, though I would love to. I
All
think
right.
their
You
brand is
should work
amazing.
with Whataburger. Like they have the cookies they give out with the kids' meal, but like I feel like they could really benefit from your help.
They have so fun fact, you guys may know this, the audience may know this. They have one of the best cinnamon rolls out there.
They're so good.
They're so good. Yes. Their
I'm really hungry.
operations are great. Like when you go into a Whataburger, at least the ones we have here, and I think the ones we have here are partly owned by Patrick Mahomes.
That's
Well, I
Because
mean,
cool.
he,
I would like
yes,
my stuff to be owned by Patrick Mahomes too. So
but they're just their operations are great. They're super friendly. I love a lot of the drink concepts. I think they're super interesting. We were just at NRA walking the floor, and there's so many drink
Mhm.
concepts now that are super innovative and fun. So I can't pick a favorite. I'm sorry that
No, I think
that
that
didn't
was a
really
great
answer the
answer.
question.
Um,
All
You're
right.
up, Aaron. You're up. Go.
So when you're not working, which seems like you do that a lot, but
I do. I love it.
when you're not doing that, what are you doing for fun or with your boys?
Okay, so it's so interesting. So we're kind of empty nesters now, which is a
Ooh.
really odd. And there could be a whole podcast, and maybe the Women in Restaurant Leadership Board will take this on. But I think there's a need for, I don't know what it is. It's not education or acknowledgement, but like there's a real void when you become an empty nester that I feel like people don't talk about. And I feel like
You want
it's,
to go dancing, is what you just said. Like you want
No,
to
yes.
go dancing.
you miss the mothering, you miss the
Yeah.
conversation, you miss the interaction, you miss
And
They're
and
the
gone.
heart
Tammy,
the heartbeat.
right, and this is everything, well, not, I'll speak for me personally. Like this is what I worked so hard for, was for them to be independent and have their own
Yeah.
lives and be wonderful
And
humans,
now they
which
are.
they
And what
are.
are you doing?
I know, and then but it's just this idea of like, okay, gosh, what do I do with all this time now? So, and that isn't, and it makes it sound like it's an unhappy thing or it's a negative thing. It isn't. It's just like, oh gosh, I didn't know it would feel like this. And Tammy, to your point, it's not just them gone; it's their friends.
Yeah.
It's that
Everybody in
whole,
your house.
It's the
yes,
energy. That's what I
it's
mean.
Are
It's
the
the
you basket weaving? Is like what's happening?
so I have so I love to garden. I know this may sound crazy. I love to
No
cut
one
my
likes
own.
to garden.
I love to
But
cut my
okay.
own lawn. I love to cut the grass.
I'm so mortified right now. Like I don't even know how to handle this. Like, Tammy, when's the last time you cut your lawn? Oh, you don't have one either. We don't. We don't even know what to do with this information.
I the reason I like it is because it's one thing, with what we do, you can start it and finish it and see that you've done something in a short amount of
That's
time.
like where I want to be a barista. That's the same thing. Like
Yes,
I
it's the
really want to
same
be a
thing, Aaron.
barista at Starbucks. Like I think that would
Yes.
be a great job for me because you can start it and finish it and you feel like you accomplished something versus marketing where you feel like you've done nothing.
Yes, right. Well, it's like when you're a barista, you don't have to go home and answer emails from customers. You're there, when I cut my lawn, it's done. There's no
Tammy
email
works
involved.
literally every day of like every hour of the day. Like she's always working. She never feels like she's accomplished.
I know. But I like to have, so we have, my husband and I have volunteering, areas of volunteering that we're super passionate about that we do. I have a great niece now who's 2.5.
A
So
great niece?
a great niece. So she's, my niece has a baby, and she is our goddaughter. And so her daughter is Anna Marie, who's named after my mom. And so Anna Marie is 2.5. And I told her the other day, I said, Anna Marie, you're my best friend. And she's like, why?
Oh.
So she's just a delight. And my niece said to me, I don't know, this was like 6 months ago. And Anna Marie was over at our house and we were just having a ball. And she said, what's it like to have a baby over here? I said, honey, Natalie is my niece's name. I said, Natalie, I call her Natalie Pooh. I said, Natalie Pooh, and she's 34. I said, you have no idea. I'm just delighting in her because I don't have to educate her. I don't have to take her to the doctor when she's sick. I don't have to worry that she's not sleeping through the night. I can just delight in her in this time, and it is
And she
absolutely
can drive you to
glorious.
bars. Come on.
I love
I keep
that.
waiting for Aaron's kids to get old enough.
Oh, stop it. I mean, Jennifer, I think we could have you on
Every month.
multiple podcasts to talk
Mhm.
about
I'm here for it, ladies.
the
Yeah.
stories that I know you have. Like,
Oh my
it's
gosh,
really impressive. It's
I have
really
amazing
impressive.
stories. People are just. I've been so blessed, and I'm just so grateful for the people, the industry, the job. This industry is amazing. It's some of the most generous, gracious, kind, smart,
Yep.
funny, there for you people.
Yeah.
You can't find two people that agree with you more. So, with that said, our last question on all of our podcasts is who would you nominate? What woman do you look out and
Oh,
go, I would like to hear them on Bite Size and Bossy? Who would that be?
oh,
Well,
Or
she's
okay.
women?
while you're thinking about that, I think we should start to add a second question.
Oh, okay.
I think that we should start to ask which of the previous episodes of our show were your favorite,
Oh,
so that
that would
we
Okay.
can
really
get
call you
people
out
to go
too if
back
you didn't
and
listen
listen
to
to
them.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, I have an
Didn't
answer
mean
to
to do
that one.
that, but yeah,
I have, so if you are asking that,
yeah,
Tammy,
I
so
am.
Jackie Woodward, when you all had her
Ah,
on,
we love
I
Jackie.
loved, I don't know her. I've met her, but I don't really know her. You know what I loved about her was when she was talking about being open to feedback, and I can't recall exactly, I think it was her boss who was saying to her something about not being approachable. And she's like, "What do you mean? I'm the most approachable person I know." And he's like, "Jackie, are you kidding me?" And she like took it as a way to perhaps view herself differently versus being put off by it. And this idea of like us, I'm a big believer in like we need to, our work here is to know who we are and also to know other people and to see
Yeah.
them and to know them and to value them. And I don't think we can fully see people and know them and value them if we don't know ourselves. And we have to
Agreed.
know all the parts of ourselves, the parts that maybe need some refining or work or attention. So she was so vulnerable and just, I just, that really struck me. I just thought this is somebody that um, I really enjoyed that. And it really moved me. Now, as far as women to potentially have on, gosh, there's a whole list, but a few of them come to mind. So the Texas Roadhouse women, Kelly Masden and um, Beth Franklin. So those are the two I've worked with.
Awesome.
Amazing. So they do something really fun when we work with them, and we don't work with Kelly anymore. But when I worked on Texas Roadhouse, I worked with Kelly. So she would say, "Okay, y'all are coming down, and we're gonna have a day of fun and a day of work."
Oh,
And
I want to have fun. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
boy, did we have a day of fun. They planned it, and we did all kinds of fun things. We did a bourbon tour.
Kelly,
We
if you're
did
listening, I would like a day of fun as well. I would really like to have a fun day.
So I loved that. And then Alicia Motors. So Alicia is, so she was at Sonic. I knew her from Sonic days, and then she went over to Panera, and I believe she is looking for her next opportunity. And
Oh,
she's from Kansas City, and
Oh,
so
okay.
she's from a small town in Kansas, and so we know her from that. But she's amazing. She has a great story. She's probably one of the smartest, driven, scrappy, but kind and
Oh, I
generous
want to meet
people.
her. I
She's
don't
yeah.
think
great.
I've ever met. Do you know
And
her, Tammy?
well, no, but if she's looking for a job, you should Jennifer, you know that I share
Tammy is
all the
very
jobs I
connected.
see and
Like
try
Yes.
to help
yeah.
people there. So definitely have her reach out or maybe make
Mhm.
an introduction. We'd love to help her.
I will absolutely do it. Yes. So I could go on, but three ladies that I really, really
I
enjoy
love,
and
well, that's
great.
the great thing about being women in our industry is we want to help each other.
Yeah.
And
There's
that's
so
our
many great
goal,
ones.
right? So, Jennifer, we cannot thank you enough for
Oh
being
my
on our
gosh.
Yay.
podcast. Like
Thank
you
you
are
guys.
a
Hercules,
breath of
Hercules.
fresh air. You are unbelievable. And thank you for listening to Bite Size and Bossy. Like, share, subscribe, record, review, all the things, 5 stars over and over and over. We love you and we want to know that you love us. So thank you for listening to Bite Size and Bossy.
BiteSized&Bossy, rising up the ranks, handing out encouragement, deposits in their banks. Inspiration coming at you like a river flowing. Women paving paths, look at them going.